The QN90B is Samsung's second crack at Mini-LED. Is it better or worse? Is it even Samsung's best TV? Let's cover it all. What's up? B the Installer here, kicking off a new year of TVs. And again, the flagship 4K Samsung is first on the list. But this year, with a little more space available, I have the massive 85-inch QN90B in the house. There are a lot of positive things and maybe a couple negative things to talk about for this Samsung Mini-LED TV. I'll go over the physical aspects of the TV, then the OS, how it looks with typical cable and sports, and then movies and gaming before I render a final verdict and buying advice at the end of the video. So please make sure to smash the like button if and when you find the video useful, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and set the notification bell to all so you're reminded when there is a new upload. And let me know in the comments if you think the QN90B will be at the top of your list of TVs to buy in 2022 and beyond. So we did an unboxing of this 85-inch QN90B, and physically speaking, the TV is very similar to last year's QN90A, which was a well-designed TV. I don't think you get much thinner in a mainstream LCD-based TV, but we shall see, right? The stand is quite heavy, but necessary to balance such a tall TV. It only offers you the one position, and to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it being up so high. I could see this TV looking amazing in a low-profile stance on the entertainment center, especially in the larger sizes that get a little wobbly up this high. Just food for thought. But I think those with a soundbar or small center channel may appreciate the extra space under the TV. The back of the TV is quite simple. 400 by 400 millimeter VESA pattern for wall mounting and all the connectivity in one simple row. It has the ATSC 3.0 tuner to display 4K over-air channels when it's more widely available, along with your traditional Ethernet and USB ports. The big hardware difference is that the QN90B has 4 HDMI ports that are all 2.1 capable for gaming. So for anyone that had both the PC and console or 2 of the next-gen consoles, most Samsungs with only the 1 HDMI port were not going to cut it. But this year with 4, the QN90B should alleviate that concern. The HDMI 3 port has the enhanced audio return channel or eARC connectivity, so you can get the best audio from the TV to a soundbar or AV receiver. This is also the second year in a row with the new solar style remote. Very sleek and easy to use. Once you have it in your hands for a few days, you can fly around the menus, and because it's so simple, there isn't much need for it to be backlit, but it would still be cool if it were. Besides the solar panel, there's also a USB-C port if you need a quick charge. So let's go ahead and fire this big 85-inch TV up. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, the Ridge Wallet. For years, I gave myself back problems sitting on this pile of receipts and old business cards. But why? The Ridge Wallet has room for up to 12 cards as well as cash, all in a neat and sturdy design that is far thinner than your typical wallet. There are over 30 colors and styles, including burnt titanium and carbon fiber. My personal favorite is forged ember carbon fiber, which is extremely durable but barely noticeable in your pocket. And it's got these hot red flakes that match my new Tesla. More on that to come. But don't just take my word for it. Ridge Wallets have over 40,000 5-star reviews and gives you 45 days to try them out with a money-back guarantee. So make sure you go to ridge.com/installer in the description below and type in the code installer to get 15% off your order so you have something cool to unbox. Once we get the TV on, you can set up the QN90B with the remote or via the SmartThings app. I feel like the SmartThings app takes longer, but at least it'll be integrated with the rest of your smart home products. Once I get to the home screen of the Tizen OS, I notice that it's a bit different than last year. For anyone that has had a Samsung TV for the past 5+ years, you may have been used to the pop-up when pressing the home button. That made it quick to get to the different apps or at least check your options while you contemplate a change. But the same home button now will take you to a dedicated home screen where you sift through recently watched channels as well as suggested content. If you're new to Samsung, it's a fine operating system, and I'm sure you'll be able to make it work. You can reorganize the apps, choose from a number of different screensavers, and get to the settings, which looks more like the old OS, except for the new smart calibration. This gives you the opportunity to do a basic or professional color correction. I ran the basic setup and it offered a small adjustment. It lets you toggle between before and after to see the differences, but the difference was minimal and we couldn't find those numbers in the 2-point white balance menu, so I'm not sure if it stuck or disappeared. Keep It Classy Tech said the basic just resets the settings, so I'll leave it to calibrators like him to let me know if and when it has some sort of use. The Samsung Plus channels that come included with the TV look to be in a better resolution, or at least dial in to the full resolution much faster than last year. You can find some fun content, so if you don't have cable, it's a nice bonus to be able to see what's on those channels from time to time. Picture-in-picture is one of my favorite features on any TV ever, and Samsung brought it back last year. This year's lineup has it as well, so you can split screen, including connecting your phone by tapping to the TV if you wanted to share content. The picture-in-picture is definitely a useful feature if you're like me and watching only one thing at a time can't hold your attention. As far as the picture quality, the QN90B is quite solid. Just watching the Samsung Plus channels alone, I started feeling pretty good with the brightness and sharpness, and I didn't notice any blooming. But of course, we need to look a little more in depth at the SDR, HDR, and gaming to see what we think. Cable TV, sports, and a lot of Netflix and other apps are displayed in SDR, or standard dynamic range. So for most people buying this TV, it's important to check out how that looks with average content. And my first thoughts after some basic tweaking of the settings is that it's going to be a monster TV for watching sports. If you saw our unboxing video on this TV, the QN90B was far brighter in SDR over my 83-inch Sony A90J Master Series OLED. But it's also much more vivid, all while having very acceptable contrast and less reflections from ambient light. Last year, the SDR content from the QN90A was sort of hit or miss, because one scene would be bright and colorful and the next would be dark and lacking highlights, and I could see more light bleeding. But I'll get into some of those tests in a bit. And not all SDR content is created equal. Much of the footage recorded may not look amazing because it's also upscaled from much lower resolutions to this massive 85-inch 4K TV. As I said, overall, sports and movies look great, and the upscaling is pretty good. However, from scene to scene, the QN90B wasn't quite as sharp as that high-end Sony OLED. There was a bit more noise, and the edges weren't as detailed as a Sony A90J. But overall, it's solid, and this is the largest size, and I'm picking it apart next to an extremely expensive TV. That is also why it's important to consider what you'll be watching on any TV. If you are just watching cable or news, then this TV and many other high-end TVs are likely overpriced or just more than what you need. But if you're big into HDR movies and gaming, then this is where the Samsung QN90B really crushes. All of the upside of this TV is revealed at once. The brightness and colors are intense and have that wow factor many people are hoping for. It's actually quite hard to record these scenes and show you how good it looks in person due to the amazing HDR, so the camera doesn't capture all of the details seen in the brightest areas. But the QN90B looks amazing with all the different content I was testing out. Even just watching an HDR movie like Thor Ragnarok is impressive. You can see the pop of all the colors, which is sometimes lacking in OLED TVs in full screen like this. Displaying such eye-popping HDR also makes me question if a great Mini-LED TV even needs Dolby Vision, which is one knock on Samsung. Some consumers just say, no Dolby Vision, no way. But that just doesn't make sense when this TV is far more vibrant than any OLED TV or many LED TVs with Dolby Vision. So for this TV, I think it's okay without it. Gaming has been great on Samsung TVs and only gotten better, going from the one HDMI port to 4. So again, you can plug in your PC and or next-gen gaming consoles in any and all ports to get the 4K at 120 frames per second. And while I'm not a hardcore gamer, my comments are filled with people complimenting Samsung TVs for gaming. This has incredible detail, very low input lag, and from what I've heard from other channels that spend more time with gaming, there's less motion issues than its predecessor. The game bar allows you to view metrics and offers different presets that are customizable if you have specific games that you want to change settings on the fly. I've been very happy with gameplay on Samsung TVs for a few years, and this may be the best yet. But the QN90B can't be all rosy and perfect, can it? The two things about LED or Mini-LED that keep me up at night is how they handle light bleeding or blooming and the overall screen uniformity. I'll try to keep this brief, but the screen uniformity isn't completely solved. When showing a full gray screen, you can see some uneven cloudiness or dirty screen effect, or DSE. In this test, if you follow the hockey player but are focused on the background, it's more noticeable. From my experience, this is more of an issue for the videophiles among us and not the average TV buyer. And in addition, it can vary from panel to panel. So if you buy this TV, you may not even see this issue. And then the most challenging aspect to LED backlit TVs is the light bleeding, as most companies try and balance the light and dark areas to get the best contrast. I ran a bunch of dimming zone and blooming tests to challenge this TV and was really impressed with the ability to keep the light separated. Samsung has implemented a new shape adaptive light control that has better control over the dimming zones. In real world scenes, there's still some minor blooming, or at least some loss of contrast in small areas on the screen, but some of these scenes are incredibly challenged for any LED or Mini-LED TV. And the big upside in 2022 is that the small highlights on the Samsung QN90B are so much brighter than any other Mini-LED TV I've ever seen. This flyover of Burj Khalifa in Dubai is insane. On the downside, as the building gets closer and the fountain lights reflect off the building, you can see some very minor blooming as those lights change. But besides that one little area, I would challenge those who are OLED superfans to try and pick this out of a lineup with how bright and sharp all of those small highlights look over the entire screen. So I think the first version of Samsung Mini-LED last year may have had too many dimming zones or lacked the processing power to control those zones to a degree, but was still light years ahead of things like the QNED 99, where the screen was an IPS type screen and had a lot of blooming. But this year the Samsung QN90B is even more dialed in, which is minimizing the blooming and maxing out the highlights. So pretty impressive results so far, but this 85-inch QN90B is quite expensive at launch. So what price would you consider this TV in any size? We all know that pricing will get aggressive around Black Friday, but even before then, I think there'll be a good opportunity to see some competitive pricing. This year, Samsung is launching an OLED or QD-OLED in smaller 55 and 65-inch sizes. So if you're a Samsung and OLED fan, you'll now have a great option. And if you have your heart set on getting that very convenient One Connect box where the brains of the TV is set somewhere else, the QN95B should be available in the US as well and has been widely available in much of the rest of the world. So all that to say, Samsung may have some competitive pricing to sell all these different models. And then you also have two 8K models in the Q800B and Q900B. Both of those have the One Connect box and a thinner silver frame. It seems hard to justify for just the 8K resolution alone, but the thin bezel, frame, additional dimming zones, and One Connect box may be a great option for those who can afford that upgrade. Personally, I would be quite happy with this 85-inch QN90B for under $4,000, and closer to $3,000 is better. I would look to target this toward Amazon Prime Day, where other retailers also join in the discount fun. And if you can wait to the holidays, that's where the pricing should be the most aggressive. But overall, I'm very impressed with Samsung's QN90B Mini-LED TV. It's the brightest 4K TV I've seen, specifically in the smallest of highlights, while the dark scenes rival that of OLED TVs. The gaming features are on par with the best LG TVs, and now you have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. So definitely an upgrade over the 2021 model, and worth waiting for the best price, assuming you can get that panel that doesn't have the distracting dirty screen effect that is still present on the 85-inch TV that I have behind me. A lot of reasons to be extremely happy with this TV. Everyone that's walked through the door and seen the 85-inch QN90B has been thoroughly impressed. So what do you think? Are you excited about the QN90B? Or do you have any reservations or need to see other models first? Let me know in the comments. Definitely smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd be happy to have you on board. And check out one of the wire hiding videos if you haven't already, so you can be the installer.